The Tale of Arcadia. After the humans set their sights on the stars, and after they achieved first contact, an age of war and devastation began. The galaxy was in a perpetual state of war for thousands of years, even before humanity emerged from its small blue planet they call Earth. Shortly after they established first contact, they joined the Galactic Liberty Alliance, an alliance of dozens of various species and civilizations that united under one banner to fight against the tyranny of an ancient race that aimed to enslave the entire galaxy. They went by many names, but the humans called them Strigs, short for the Strigoi, an old word from a minority language back on Earth meaning vampire. They had many similarities with the old human myth. The Strigs reigned with an iron heel, terror being their main way of subjugation. They stripped countless trillions of their freedom, enslaving them as laborers, forced them to fight their wars and using them as cattle, food. For thousands of years more, the war waged on, with no end in sight. Entire lifetimes passed and generations came and went. War and fear became a constant reality. But we fought on. We resisted in spite of all the odds. Humans managed to establish colonies in their system, as well as in many others. One of those many systems was called Arcadia. It was called after the first planet settled by humans in the system that bears the same name, Arcadia. The planet was originally a military base, but soon enough, the fertile lands proved to be an excellent source for agricultural products, alongside its vast mineral resources. It soon became a model colony and an economic powerhouse on its own. For generations, Arcadia was spared of the brunt of the fighting, but peace was not an option with the Strigs, and they came to Arcadia as well. The ensuing battle was a Pyrrhic victory for the Alliance and humanity. The losses were severe. Millions of civilians and soldiers perished in the battle both on the surface of the planet and in space. After the Great Arcadian War was won, the system became a heavily militarized colony. Many bases were set up both by humans and other races in the Alliance. It was the first step that shaped the diverse culture of Arcadia. The many races stationed in those years exchanged ideas and traditions that persist to this day. Traditions started by the diverse soldiers that fought in the Great Battle. Soon, the refugee ships came en masse, dozens of races escaping starvation and death from the hands of the Strigoi. And many came to Arcadia herself, and she welcomed them with open arms. Mankind welcomed them with open arms. And so they settled onto the vast plains of Arcadia and her many satellites. Diverse species from many worlds lived together, ate together, and went through the same suffering together. This was the second step that shaped the culture of Arcadia. Those old traditions of those old veterans, many of whom were taken by old age by then, were continued. The humans and their cosmic brethren took up the torch of the fallen and the lost and continued their sacred mission of salvation. Soon, languages mixed, distinct dialects formed. So many tongues and so many ways of communication were put together, creating a unique language which could be spoken by any race. The countless millions which came to Arcadia rebuilt it from its ashes, and Arcadia arose like a phoenix flame. She became as diverse as the Alliance itself, and she mobilized every person of every race to fight for liberty. The unique specialties of many races became one, with a single goal. Arcadia even surpassed its former glory. It fed its people and other systems. Its industrial might supplied the Alliance with weapons and amenities. Her forges burned with passion and rage, her shipyards never silent. She became a beacon of hope for not only humanity, but for the entire Alliance. A living testament that no matter what, we can survive, we can rebuild, we can fight. She birthed many great leaders, generals, and admirals whose genius could only be matched by the courage and bravery of the soldiers in their command. She birthed innovators that solved problems in creative ways, paving the way to one of the finest universities in the galaxy that stand to this very day. In many ways, as it was great, it had its downsides. The war took its toll. The inhabitants of Arcadia, though they lived better than many others, they still faced death at every corner. Supplies were cut off, attacks and skirmishes were frequent, and threats of another full-scale attack from the Strigs was a persistent fear, a nightmare that plagued the dreams of every citizen of Arcadia and every citizen of the Alliance. That fear soon became a reality. After 200 years of minor battles, the Great One came. And it was not only in Arcadia, but across the entire border. The entire front was attacked with ferocious force from the Strigs. Worlds fell and were razed to the ground, plundered. The death toll reached numbers that even the most intelligent of races can barely comprehend. The atrocities committed were innumerable. This was the feared final solution that the Strigoi threatened for so long. The front finally stagnated. It was a war of attrition. Arcadia was now a battleground once again. Behind her was Earth, the cradle of mankind, and the homeworlds of many other races. All of our fleets, all of our capable men and women made an oath to fight until their final breath. And fight they did. And even in that chaos and bloodshed, another hope emerged in Arcadia. An order was established jointly by humans and the descendants of those who fled tyranny long ago. The name of the order is not known. It is shrouded in mystery. But a single symbol told you everything. The lambda, the symbol from the ancient history of humans, the symbol of an ancient human society that was shaped by war. The Spartans, the Skiritai, Spartakoi, Arcads, the Lambdans, so many names to describe them, but a single purpose. They fought in the shade. In order to serve the light, legends tell of missions where they went behind enemy lines, suicide missions, to disrupt the Strigoi in every way they could. When battles began, the first symbol you would see would be the lambda. When people starved, supplies came, the boxes engraved with that ancient symbol. When derelict enemy ships were recovered, within them were the symbol of the lambda was painted on its walls. Sometimes with a single quote, sometimes written in the human Latin alphabet, sometimes in galactic standard or other local scripts. Ea grotto dum anima est spes est. As long as there is life, there is hope. The symbol of the lambda became the symbol of resistance. It became the symbol of Arcadia, the place where it was first seen and where the organization was first founded. How they did it, how they managed to cause such chaos in the Strigoi forces is a mystery. But it was welcomed nonetheless. Their actions and sacrifices turned the tide of the war ever so slightly to our favor. And after years of grueling combat, we pushed back. The largest military operation in GFA history, 120,000 corvettes, 35,500 frigates, 8,000 carriers, 97 Titan-class warship, 7 million transports, 213 million personnel that crewed the ships, and nearly 2 billion soldiers that were ready to liberate the countless occupied planets. The Arcadian shipyards alone, despite being under constant threat of bombardment and destruction, built 13,500 corvettes, 3,000 frigates, and 2 Titan-class warships called Perun and Zeus. Once the Great Liberation began, we pushed hard, and we pushed deep into the Strigoi territory. Planets were freed one by one. Even though our laws, our mandate was that of equality and justice, if the enemy surrenders or has no way to fight back, they are not to be killed. We held on to our honor and our oaths even when facing monsters. But many couldn't, especially when the soldiers landed on many of those planets. The state in which the population was appalling, disgusting. Words can hardly describe. One of the human soldiers famously paralleled those worlds to the likes of the Holocaust, a dark period in early human history. Planet-wide concentration camps, slave labor, systemic slaughter of innocents of millions for Strigoi food supplies. So many brave soldiers that faced death and spat in its face. Soldiers that saw their comrades, friends, and even family fall. They were stoic through that, but those planets, it broke them. An Arcadian unit consisting of mainly Kaliotzi, Mercon, and human personnel liberated the planet of Farlet, populated by a timid mammalian race called the Karen. The planet was deep in Strigoi territory. There were a few Karen amongst the soldiers that landed, mostly descendants of the initial refugees. What they saw on its surface I dare not even put into words. Old footage showed battle-hardened soldiers weep at the sight of the atrocities. One specific tape showed a Kaliotzi and human soldier open up one of the many slaughterhouses on the planet. The Karen inside were underfed and traumatized. They were mostly children. Their larger parents were the first to go to the mechanized chopping block. The soldiers quickly got the kids out of there. They tried saving some of them who were not breathing with supplies they had at the time. The heartbreaking footage of the soldiers trying to revive the kids was words can't really convey. A stoic Kaliotsi, a reptilian race known for their compassion but lack of expression, stood on his knees over a body of a Karen child, wide-eyed, and mouth hanging slightly open, the sign of intense grief. Two humans and a Karen desperately were trying to revive an adult Karen in the background. A child cried for her parent, her father. The man was confirmed dead soon after. The humans stood defeated. The Karen went off camera with tears in his eyes. 900 million dead on a single planet. And the only instance where the oath the soldiers gave when they joined the military was broken en masse. Out of 200,000 imprisoned Strigs, barely a 10,000 got of the planet alive to get to the POW camps set up in a nearby system. This was one of the rare occasions that the soldiers responsible for killing prisoners of war were pardoned, due to the extreme circumstances. After the war, the Strigoi kept only a small sliver of territory, 2 systems, on the periphery of the galaxy. Now they are a rump state under constant supervision. Since then, they learned to coexist with others to a certain degree. An alternative source of nutrition was found for them. With a population of barely 3 billion, they are now slowly facing extinction due to low birth rates. Most of their population died in the war. Suicides are among the main killers that killed them off. Today, the Alliance and humanity stand together in harmony and peace. The system of Arcadia gained significant autonomy from the Terran Union. Though it is still part of Terran territory, it manages most of its politics independently. The mass migrations that came after the war fueled the further expansion of the Arcadian economy. Arcadia today is only rivaled by Earth itself, though it surpasses the old home world of mankind in many aspects. It still stands proud. Proud of her history, proud of her people. The freedom and prosperity once dreamt by many before is now a reality that was created by the blood of billions from Arcadia and beyond. Memorials and statues adorn the surface of the planet, but the single largest monument stands on the edge of the system itself. A monument of a massive gate, doors perpetually open. On top, a gigantic enclosed chamber shows a burning fire, a torch, a lighthouse in a sea of darkness. Under it, the flag of the GLA, the Arcadian flag depicting the Lambda and the flag of Earth, the original home of the first settlers in this system. The new Colossus, inspired by monuments of old back on Earth. Text engraved in fine granite, in massive bold letters, sing an old poem of an old city, its lyrics changed to fit the Arcadian Colossus. Not like the brazen giants of Terran fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land. Here at our entrance, sunset gates shall stand a mighty arch with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name Arcadia, mother of exiles. From her beacon hand glows universe-wide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air-bridged harbor that triplet cities frame. Struggle, ancient peoples, and rise, cries she with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest lost to me, I lift my lamp beside the golden door. E grotto dom anima est, spes est.